Are you staring at the HSC Multimedia Industry section and just not knowing where to start? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. So today, we are going to tackle one of the trickiest questions and build the absolute perfect answer. I've got a formula that's going to help you lock in those top marks. Let's do this.
Okay, the one we're zeroing in on is question 18, part B. This thing is worth a massive 10 marks. That means you should be giving the whole question about 35 minutes of your time. And what's the task? Well, it's to explain how production techniques help a company get super efficient. Now, that sounds complicated, I know, but trust me, it's like a puzzle, and we have the solution right here.
And boom, here it is. This is it. This is the answer. The secret to a top-tier response is this simple formula. It's all about understanding how mechanization, specialization, and updating work together. That's what's going to make your answer stand out from the crowd. This is going to be our framework for everything.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the exam question so we know exactly what they're looking for. Then, we're going to dive into each piece of our formula: mechanization, the automation engine; specialization, the expert advantage; and updating, the competitive edge. And finally, we'll put it all together so you have your formula for success.
So, what is this question really asking? Look, it's not just about spitting out definitions. The real task here is to connect specific production techniques, our 3 keywords, directly to efficiency. And this is the most important part. You have got to use real-world industry examples to prove your points.
Let's get really specific. We're talking question 18, part B, 10 marks. The focus is on how these techniques make things more efficient. But the absolute key, the thing that will get you from a pass to a top mark, is using those real, concrete multimedia examples. That's where our focus is going to be.
First up in our formula, mechanization. I want you to think of this as the automation engine that's running behind the scenes in all modern multimedia production. So what exactly is mechanization? It's pretty simple, really. It's just using machines and automation to do the boring, repetitive stuff that humans are slow at or, mess up sometimes. The goal here is simple: speed, accuracy, and consistency every single time. And you see these examples everywhere in the industry. Think about those huge automated printers just churning out thousands of posters, and every single one has the exact same color. Or my favorite example, render farms. They can take a Premiere Pro video or a Blender animation that would take your computer days to export, and they slash that time down to just a few hours. Even a fast photocopier is a great example of mechanization. So here's the bottom line, and these are the key words you need to remember. Mechanization gives you faster workflows, perfectly consistent outputs, and it reduces labor costs. Write those down. Those are the words you want to sprinkle all through your answer to show you get it. All right, on to the second part of our formula: specialization. Now, if mechanization was all about having the right tools, specialization is all about having the right people doing the right jobs. You've probably heard of this idea before. It's like a creative assembly line. Instead of one person trying to be a graphic designer, a video editor, and a sound engineer, you break the project up. You give each piece to an expert who just lives and breathes that one thing. Everyone stays in their own lane, doing what they do best. Let's walk through a project. So maybe it starts with a graphic designer in Adobe Illustrator creating all the logos and graphics. Then they pass those assets over to a video editor who puts it all together in Premiere Pro. And finally, it goes to a sound engineer who makes the audio perfect in Adobe Audition. See? Each expert with their own specialized tool working way more efficiently. So what's the payoff here? Well, it's huge. First off, the quality of the final product is just way better. Second, you waste so much less time because people aren't trying to switch gears between tasks. And third, and this is a great term to use, companies get economies of scale. That just means it's cheaper to buy, say, a bunch of Adobe Creative Cloud licenses for your team of specialists than to have one person trying to master everything. And now for the final piece of our efficiency puzzle: updating. In an industry like multimedia that moves at lightning speed, staying up to date isn't a nice to have, it's literally about survival. So updating just means making sure you have the latest software and hardware. And look, this isn't about having the shiniest new toy. It's about using the new features and all that extra power to work faster and, honestly, to stay ahead of all your competitors. And the difference is just night and day. Seriously, think about it. Before, you had someone painstakingly manually cutting out a background in a photo. Now, the AI in Photoshop does it with one click. Instead of your computer chugging away for hours on a render, Blender's real-time engine shows you the result instantly. And you can forget emailing massive files back and forth.
Now you've got cloud collaboration with Adobe Creative Cloud Libraries. It's a game changer.
So what's the big advantage? Well, companies that stay updated can handle way more work, what we call mass production. They have way less downtime because their computers aren't crashing or slow, and most importantly, it gives them a massive competitive edge.
Okay, we've gone through all three parts. Now let's bring it all home and tie this together into your winning exam formula.
Okay, you might want to screenshot this because this table is basically your cheat sheet. It connects everything. Mechanization, think render farms, and your keywords are automation and consistent outputs. Specialization, think Adobe roles, and your keywords are higher quality and economies of scale. And updating, think AI and cloud tech, and your keywords are mass production and competitiveness. This is the perfect structure for your answer.
And this is the master formula to burn into your brain. When you put mechanization, specialization, and updating together, you don't just get efficiency. You get efficiency plus higher quality plus a huge competitive advantage. And you can see how they all work together, right? An updated AI tool makes a specialist work faster, and that's actually a type of mechanization. It's the whole picture. That's what you need to show the marker.
So I'll leave you with a question to think about, looking at these three big forces: automation, expert specialization, and just crazy fast tech updates. Which one do you think is going to be the biggest game changer for the multimedia industry over the next 5 years? It's something to chew on while you're mastering these ideas for your exam.